I'm an addict, are you? Many people claim eating pizza is very addictive. According to the USDA, 1 in 8 people in the United States eats pizza on a daily basis. When people are asked what their favorite pizza is, they usually describe their the toppings on their pizza or their favorite sauce. However, it's almost unanimous that everybody describes their favorite crust. Making pizza dough from scratch can be intimidating to some. However, it's easier than you think. Each step is pretty simple. However, it's the timing and planning that is key. I've been making pizza dough for approximately 28 years of my marriage to my Italian husband, and although the dough tastes essentially the same, it always takes on a different shape depending on what I'm making, how big of a pizza or the shape of the pizza I'm making. Today I'm going to explain how to make pizza dough from scratch, from proofing and preparing, proofing your yeast and preparing your ingredients, to kneading the dough, letting it rise, and then actually preparing a pizza that you'll be baking. So let's get started. So what you first have to do is get a cup of warm water. It can't be too hot and it can't be too cold. And then what you need to do is add a package of yeast. And look on the bottom for the expiration date, because what you do not want is anything that has expired. And then what you're going to also do is add a half a teaspoon of sugar. The sugar will actually feed the yeast, and it will feed the yeast, and you're going to set this aside and let it proof for about 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, it should actually look like this. It should be bubbly and prepared and ready to go, okay? If it doesn't look like that, toss that out because it shows that it's probably not live yeast, okay? Next, what you're going to do is you're going to add about 2.5 cups to 2 3/4 cup flour, and you're going to also add a little olive oil and about a teaspoon or about a teaspoon of salt. And then I usually mix it with my fork, and what happens is all the ingredients will all mix together. If I'm making a lot of dough, I will actually put in my KitchenAid and use the dough hook and let that mix it up. So what you want to do is get it to a point that you can actually put it on a surface and get prepared to start to knead your dough. I usually prepare my surface by adding a little flour, and then it'll be still a little sticky, but you can dump that right out onto your surface, okay? So kneading, you're going to use the ball of the heel of your hand, and you're going to push it forward and turn it, adding a little flour so it's not too sticky.
I'm visualizing my mother again.
So you're going to knead this, and some people claim it takes about 8 to 10 minutes. But what you want to do is knead it till it actually returns back to you. If you push it forward. The other way that you can tell that the dough is ready is if you push your thumb or your finger into it and it starts to seal over it. Another way is to place it on the palm of your hand and it remains in a ball. After it's prepared, what you're going to do is you're going to add a little olive oil to a bowl. You're going to place this inside the bowl and then cover it with a towel, okay? And you're going to set that for about 1 to 4 hours. And depending on how warm it is in your house, it may take less time. Those summer months, it usually takes about an hour. And the dough should then be it should rise or double in size. And then the first thing you should do is remove it. Remove all the air by pushing it out. And I usually dump the, I dump it onto my surface, and then I cut it in half. And I set one aside, and then I prepare my surface to roll it out. Okay? I use the flour on my rolling pin. And I start to prepare to shape it. Depending on how big of a pizza I'm going to be doing, then I end up coating my pizza pan with cornmeal. I place the dough onto my pizza pan, and I shape the make the shape of the pizza crust right on the sides. I'll add a little olive oil to the top to coat it so the sauce won't go through. And then I'll actually add a little sauce to the top and add my toppings accordingly. I've already preheated my oven.
And she made the sauce.
I've already preheated the oven, and I have my stone in the oven at 500 degrees. I'll place the actual pan of pizza on my stone, and then what I'll do is and set it for 10 minutes, and after 10 minutes, I'll use my peel and pull out my pizza on the peel and stick it back on the stone so it browns real nice for another 5 to 10 minutes. The gluten, when you're kneading, what you're doing is actually preparing the strands, the protein strands in the gluten to actually strengthen and actually help improve the texture of the pizza. So just to recap, I showed you how to proof your yeast, prepare your ingredients, knead your dough, let it rise, and then prepare it with adding the sauce. So if you have any other questions, I'll be here afterwards. But a good reference tool is this from the 1988, from the national PBS TV series, The Pizza Gourmet, by Robert Arlett, featuring recipes by Chef Carl Oshinsky. It's a great book, great reference tool. Bon appetit.